Something pretty beautiful happened the other day. I was speaking to my nephew, who happens to reside in Middle Tennessee there, and he's moved from Dallas to Middle Tennessee, and he's got a house there, and he's turned like from city boy to country man. Live on the land. He was showing me his planters and all professionally done, nice paving stones in between, and the rutabagas and the radishes, and wow. And that was kind of a trip, him showing me that stuff. And very, with a pedantic flourish, everything perfectly organized and stuff. And so he's sitting on his porch, he's telling me, and it's getting in the evening hours. He's with his dog, a very kind of a pastoral, idyllic vibe going. He tells me it's dark, and he's seeing fireflies lighting up in the field across the road. And that made me remember something that occurred to me many, many, many years before. And I don't know where I came from or where I was going, but I was riding on a Continental Trailways bus, and they were a competitor of Greyhound, if you're familiar with that company. So anyway, I'm riding this Continental Trailways bus. It's in the early morning hours on a rural road, no traffic, no lights, no nothing, just whizzing along in the dark. And I'm looking out the window, and I'm in where I'm at. I'm in northeast Arkansas and West Tennessee. So if you're familiar with that geography, and then you know what I'm talking about. And so I see all these fireflies, and I immediately connect with what my nephew told me just before. And that's the only part of that bus I remember. I don't remember where I was boarded and where I ended up. So I think I wound up in West Virginia someplace. But anyway, kind of the motivation and much of the journey itself are lost to the sands of time. But it was a beautiful memory, and it kind of took me back to a beautiful place from constantly complaining about my symptoms, which if you've been watching my videos, then I got a full boatload of that. And I guess what I want to talk about today, that memory prompted the realization that when I became diagnosed with this illness, there's a lot of tumult initially, and maybe the first few months was an emotional roller coaster. And I told an MA one time at the neurology clinic that I was experiencing a cacophony of emotions all at once, a kaleidoscope, everything all the time. A lot of sensory stuff, emotionally, not much physically, but a lot of emotional burden. And then I settled into a mindset. I said, well, what's the best course I'm thinking? And I want to adopt a mindset of helpfulness, that maybe I could help others with this condition, or caregivers, or people, anyone. So I'd become acquainted with an individual, freshly diagnosed, very well off, or I mean, very, not many physical problems, if any. He presented with a slight tremor, same as I, and he had a positive skin biopsy. But he was still working, he was still driving, and everything was pretty much normal for him. He was even said that he was walking 5 miles a day. And the more I learned about this person's remarkable physical condition, I guess I was jealous. And I became angry. And I asked myself, why am I angry at this person? If I have this attitude of helpfulness and I want to assist people, why would I, in my mind, think about a roadblock for this person? And why would he even post this material in the first place? And then I kind of got it. He's scared shitless like everybody else. He got a terminal diagnosis, and he's reaching out. And so I think that my anger, like, hey, you haven't paid the price of admission to our club, or other ramblings on my mind that are counterproductive. If I said them to him, which I never did and never will. But as I realized in myself. And then I got a visit from my palliative care nurse one day, and I recounted this incident to her and the emotional response that I had, and my reaction. And she told me quite bluntly, and like I was jealous of him, actually, because he was doing all these things. He's still fighting and driving and earning, and his career is still going. Mine was, well, anyway. So that jealousy was like morphed into rage, I guess, anger, internal anger, which didn't hurt him, but it hurt me. And when I saw my palliative care nurse, I told her about it and my feelings of jealousy. And she just told me, frankly, Bud, I see patients every single day who would trade anything and everything to be in your shoes. And wow, that was like a hammer blow of, if that doesn't knock the self-pity out of you, nothing will. And so I moved on from that, and I realized that mindset is not helpful. And so, but I always have to be on guard against self-pity, because if I leave the door cracked open, it will flood back in. And so I try to be on guard against things like that, feeling sorry for myself. I don't want other people to do it. And if I sense that they're doing it, I try to interrupt it, divert, change the subject, or something else. So I was told one time that I focus too much on the negative. That I should be more upbeat and positive and focus on clinical trials and I don't know, rainbows and sprinkles and ice cream and candy and cake. I don't know what he wanted, but he was pretty belligerent about it. And there was this metamorphosis in me that when I became ill like this, I realized something important, that I no longer had to abide or tolerate a bully. And that, kind of like the guardrails had come off. And that I realized that after this diagnosis, and it's kind of like a voyage of self-discovery, and it still is. I'm discovering elements of my character and personality that I didn't know I had, and the beautiful parts of it are rewarding. And when I sweep away the things that are counterproductive, or I lose the toxic people that weren't adding any value to my experience. And so there's an awakening of sort. And that small autistic boy, scared, locked in the cellar, has kicked the door open and look out. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that. It's kind of an upbeat thing, I imagine. And I guess I'll title it Fireflies or Terminal Diagnosis, Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me. Thanks for watching.